Raider Nation, it's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And before we get into the breaking news of the Las Vegas Raiders signing tight end Harrison Bryant, I got to talk about today's show sponsor. I love me some Manscaped, and if you're looking for the best male grooming products out there, go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. My pledge to you during free agency, I'm going to be live all day, every day, so if you're not already here, pull up to our live stream. My other pledge is this: when the Raiders make a move, you're getting a video here. I made a video yesterday when the Raiders got Kanai Mauga. I don't know, see many people that did that. Harrison Bryant now joining the silver and black roster on a one-year, $3.25 million deal. He can make up to $4 million if he hits some of his incentives. But if you're wondering, Mitch, why should I subscribe to the Raiders Report? This is why right now. I know today is going to be an insane day. Today is going to be filled with lots and lots of moves here around the silver and black. They're going to be cutting Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to be cutting Hunter Renfrow. They're going to be close to be getting $21.6 million in money today. They're going to be close to $40 million in total for the salary cap as today started. Now with the signing of Bryant, let's say that number's down still at 37. A lot of other needs for Tom Telesco, for Antonio Pierce, and they still have a lot of other needs that they need to address. I don't want you to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed. So one of the things that I like to do here on the show, we'll get into some of the numbers. I'll get into why I like the move and why I expected a move very similar to this. But one of the things that I love to do here is I want to know what you guys have to say. I know Raider Nation is a passionate fan base. I'm a passionate human being myself. I also like to talk, and I want you guys to not be afraid here to give me your grade. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so I want you to scroll on down, give me your grade. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the signing of Harrison Bryant. My grade here is a C+. I think it's a average, slightly above average type of move. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say Harrison Bryant's going to be a great tight end too. He is a blocking tight end. One of the reasons why over the past, I'll say, month and a half since the Raiders have hired Luke Getsy, I've been sitting up here saying it wouldn't surprise me if they went out and they signed Mercedes Lewis, because Mercedes Lewis has bounced around with Getsy from the Packers to the Bears, but he was used as a blocking tight end. That's what Harrison Bryant is going to be. He is going to be the main blocking tight end. That way, Michael Mayer can be the main receiving option, but also Bryant does have the ability, and he's a big target at 6'5", 230 pounds, where he can still go up and get the football if he's needed. Like, I see Bryant being used in the red zone from a catching standpoint or picking up a first down. This past season with the Browns was kind of a weird one, though, because they had so many different quarterbacks moving in and out. Only 13 catches. He did have 3 touchdowns. I really look at the 2022, 2021, and 2020 season, and the reason why that I look at those 2 years is because the Browns put in a pretty big concentration on trying to fight tight ends. Remember, they ended up taking David Njoku. Austin Hooper at one point was a member of the Cleveland Browns, and Bryant was getting run with the starters. And when you look at some of the numbers here of him starting in general, I mean, 65 games played, started in 30 games, and the reason why he was getting starts with the Cleveland Browns was because, not that he was a better athlete than David Njoku, not because he was a better pass catcher than Austin Hooper, but the way that they ran that offense, you needed to have another tight end out there on the field that was at least an option to catch the ball, but their main reason to be out there was to block. If the Raiders want to be this bad boy team, and it sounds like they want to be this, hey man, when you play us, you're going to feel it. Adding a tight end like Bryant, who has that athletic ability that also is going to be a solid blocker, it's a C+ move. Not an outstanding move, but it is an above-average move, and not all moves can be sexy. But you know what? You guys can be sexy with our sponsor here, Manscaped. And if you haven't already, go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping. Usually the Lawnmower 5.0 costs $100. With our discount, you can get it for $80. That's just simple math right there. Also, the luck of the Irish, do you believe in it? Whether you do, whether you don't, I know this. I know I'm not getting lucky if I get that opportunity and Alex looks down there and my little leprechaun here is just surrounded in a patch of clover fields. I don't want that to happen. If I do get lucky enough, guess what? I want to actually be able to get to that pot of gold, chase that rainbow. I do think Manscaped has the best male grooming products out there. I've been using Manscaped now for 4 years, and they've never let me down. So I think if you're a guy like me and you're like, you know what, man, I want to be able to look good, whether it's a beard trimmer, whether it's the most comfortable boxer you've ever worn, whether it's their below-the-kilt care, Manscaped's here to hook up the nation. And hopefully you can remember code Raiders, because that way that tells Manscaped that, hey, I saw this on the Raiders Report, and believe it or not, it does help me out a lot. So one more time, that link's available to you all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring the Raiders Report. Honestly, looking at this face by Harrison Bryant, there's a really good chance that this guy manscapes. I mean, I'm pretty damn confident that Harrison Bryant manscapes. There's not a doubt in my mind anymore, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So when you look at now an updated look at some of the Raiders' moves that they have made, Amir Abdullah was like the first, I guess, like re-signing that they had on a one-year, $1.85 million deal. I don't know who makes these graphics, but we are still missing a name that I want to be able to get in there. Andre James, he's a center. Maybe we should update that one as well. 3-year, $24 million deal. He's getting $16 million guaranteed. Christian Wilkins was like the big-time signing at defensive tackle on a 4-year, $110 million deal. He ended up getting like $85 million of guaranteed money. Gardner Minshew signed a 2-year, $25 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. The move that the Raiders made yesterday that didn't really get a lot of headlines, but we did still make a video on it, was they re-signed linebacker Kanai Malga. No contract details yet on that, and not expecting a lot of money. But now the up-to-date move that the Raiders have made, the most recent one, is going out and signing Harrison Bryant to a 1-year deal at $3.25 million that can get up to $4 million. I don't know what the exact incentives are yet. I'm not anticipating that it's going to be anything all that crazy. It's probably, if he plays in all these games, per game bonus, maybe a workout bonus thrown in there a little bit. But today's going to be a wild day, right? Like, I mean, it's going to be a wild, wild day. And I know some people probably recognize the name Austin Hooper. Look at Harrison Bryant as an upgrade over Austin Hooper, and I mean that. Like, I still think Hooper's a better pass catcher, but Bryant's a much, much better blocker. Like, I get why they did this. It was smart to go out and add a blocking tight end. Not all moves are, people are going to be like, oh, wow, like, that's a breaking news type of video. This is a good football move. This is a smart team trying to continuously build this offensive line, continuously trying to find extra depth pieces that can help them achieve their ultimate goal, and that's building a great team, especially when you also consider the fact that the Raiders' offensive line is a little bit of a question mark right now. Sure, on the left side of the offensive line, you got Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James, but then your right side is a lot of question marks, and that's part of it. So knowing that you might have some extra question marks at the offensive line position, yes, they're confident there in Munford. Doesn't mean he's going to be a great player out there, right? And there's some good offensive guard tackle talent in the draft, in free agency, all that. But until those dudes are actually on your team, what's another thing you could do? Secure the offensive line by adding a blocking tight end like Harrison Bryant. So now that we know that the Raiders have brought in Bryant, I'm going to say that there's somewhere around, let's say, $37 million in cap space, right? This is me just basing it off of where the Raiders were this morning, the Raiders moving on, and the deals that will officially be moving on from today is Jerry Tillery, Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, Hunter Renfrow, and now you're going to have somewhere around, let's say, $37 million to spend. My question to you is, who should the Raiders sign next? There's a lot of names out there. I know people are going to be like, oh, wait, what about Khalil Mack? He's not released yet. If he gets released, I'd at least be willing to like kick the tires on it and see how much he goes for. To me, though, the one position that I really, really want the Raiders to get today is a number one corner, especially because Antonio Pierce called it a priority. So I'm talking Xavier Howard, maybe a Kendall Fuller and a Dory Jackson, a Killer Witherspoon. You could even throw in there. Those are the players that I personally would like the Raiders to sign next. Or if you want to spend big at right guard, Kevin Zeitler would be a pretty interesting name to at least entertain. Now, I am putting out a lot of content today. I am live here on YouTube, but I'm also putting out tweets, updating stuff on Instagram as well. And if anybody wants to just say, you know what, this guy on YouTube, he ain't half bad. If you want more of me, guess what? Instagram, Twitter, I am literally Mitchell Renz 365 everywhere. And if you're like, you know what, I'm not doing anything, I'm chilling at work today, you want to come ball? We're about to be balling out here on the Raiders Report.